So let's get down to business now that Adam Sandler is going to milk one of his best movies in all reality. Happy Gilmore is getting a sequel. We're going to be discussing Happy Gilmore today. It is one of my favorite Adam Sandler movies because I don't know, Adam Sandler is a hard person to watch. I don't know how he's still employed in Hollywood. He has to have something on somebody because he certainly isn't talented. He's literally playing the same character in every movie he's in except like 3, and only 2 of those movies I actually like. One being The Cobbler and this one, Happy Gilmore. So basically it starts with Happy, that's what his name is, as a kid, bonding with his father. He always wanted to be a hockey player. His dad kind of looks like Borat. I never checked to see if it was him. I really don't think it's him. But his wife was like, basically, you're not paying attention to me, so I'm gonna leave. So she left. The dad got killed at a hockey game, which is crazy. After that happened, he was sent to live with his grandma in Waterbury. It's basically like this house is basically the main plot of the main focus of the movie. It's really cool. What I like about Happy Gilmore is that everything, even though you can see things set up, like you will clearly see something is very exaggerated. Like, example, there'll be a window that's open way wider than any window should be. It's basically a doorway, and you know someone's going to fall out of it. You see the setup, but what happens, it really makes it worth it sometimes, not that specific instance. But this movie is really good. It's really wholesome and funny. And it's one of the least offensive Adam Sandler movies. And it's like crazy because he doesn't have to be offensive to be funny. This is like one of the funniest movies he's ever made. And it's not that offensive. So Happy goes to live with his grandma in this big old house. And she's a cool grandma. So from the trauma of his father dying before his eyes, he becomes an angry person. So we just see examples of him as a kid, beating up kids, basically, and beating people up. But even though he was mean, he was, like, there was a nice side to him. Like, I don't know if you would call him manic, but there's kind of a lot that goes on in this movie. Like, he'll be really angry, and then he'll be very apologetic, but it's not one of those things where it's, like, the nice guy. I wouldn't consider Happy Gilmore to be a nice guy film, where, every other movie Adam Sandler is in, he gets with the girl that's yards out of his league. Yards. In this movie, he actually tries to be a decent human being. Except like that one time on the ice, and I'll explain that. But she kind of gave it to him or whatever. But like I said, Adam Sandler movies are very hard to get through, like Waterboy, like that movie where he's in prison or whatever, like it's like The Longest Yard. I don't know if it's called The Longest Yard because I think that's another movie, but it's like The Longest Yard if it's not The Longest Yard, but it's something. It's like he's in prison and he's playing football or something crazy with Chris Rock. And you know you bad when you call the wrong Chris. You call Chris Tucker. You don't call Chris Rock. You call Chris Pratt before you call Chris Rock. And you don't ever call Chris Pratt. Ever. But let's continue. So, for some reason, they give him, like, this puffed out hair for, like, when he's younger. I never seen Adam Sandler younger. I don't care. Like I said, he's not my favorite person. But we basically see, like, a fast forward through his life, and he's just had different jobs. He was a janitor. He was a road worker. He was a security guard. And like, he's just, like, goofy. He's a goofball, a gas station attendant. Like, who needs a gas station attendant these days? But whatever. This was a movie, and he was also a plumber. This was a movie that it's before its time, in my opinion, because even you watch it, and it does not look like it's from the 90s. It is from the 90s. And yeah, you could be like, oh, Adam Sandler was doing it. It kind of looks like a 2000 movie. Like, it's like a good, well put together crap fest, because every Adam Sandler movie is a crap fest, except The Cobbler. Like, I might do a quick bit on The Cobbler, because The Cobbler was really good. It's got Method Man in it. Method Man is not in this. There are quite a few celebrities in this movie, and by quite a few, I do mean Bob Barker from The Price is Right. That's what I mean. Oh, and Ben Stiller. And like two other people, but I don't know their names. But something that comes back later that I never noticed. I literally watched this movie and I never noticed this part. And I think it's because when you watch it on TV, they might like gloss over some things and they might cut things out. But in the beginning, it shows at one of his jobs, he was shooting a nail gun into his boss's, like right into his boss's head by mistake. And his boss comes back later in the movie and helps him out. But he literally tried to beat on that dude. Like, he tried to fight him because he's like quick to anger, but he loses and he ends up in the hospital because his boss is like, he's a celebrity, but he's super tall and super big, but not in the way you think. Like, there are celebrities and then there are Adam Sandler celebrities. Like, Adam Sandler has his own universe. It's like the MCU. It's like Adam Sandler universe. It's like ASU. Like, literally, it's like there are just some people who he will have in like every movie he's in. And for some reason, that doesn't extend to all of the women that he interacts with, because Nancy from The Craft was also in Waterboy, and I didn't see him trying to help her get any roles or anything like that. But Drew Barrymore didn't need his help. She didn't need his goddamn help. So she was still doing like movies or whatever, but she was in a lot of movies he was in. And then that dude that is always complaining about, oh, cancel culture, but you're just not funny. I'm so sorry. You're funny looking. You're halfway there, but freaking dude that played Animal in that stupid movie where he was like turning into an animal or something, that was like one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, he's barely funny, and when he is funny, it's not really funny. It's just like, okay, like I laughed through my nostrils. Like, it was more like a chuckle, if anything. It was not no laugh. And then there's David Spade, which I feel like he's one of the powerhouses when it comes to Adam Sandler universe, because he's actually funny. Sometimes he's not. Sometimes he's really not. Like, it was really hard for him to get out of the shadow of that dude, Chris Farley. He was really funny. And next to him, that movie that they did together, it was kind of like, dang, bro, try a little harder. But Emperor's New Groove really kind of, like, I feel like David Spade should have stayed in just voice acting, honestly. It's really hard to watch him too. But it's not because the Adam Sandler situation where he just has no talent and he's doing the same annoying voice man-child that can't keep a woman, but for some reason all the women that he's with are horrible, but the woman that he wants that doesn't want him, that's out of his league, ends up wanting him in the end, and then they end up walking down the aisle for some reason. It's crazy. It is insane. A lot of these movies Adam Sandler has the say-so for, and you can clearly tell because it's just at the end of every movie he has to have sex. He has to be getting laid. He has to have a girl. He can't just exist in this world. That's another big reason why The Cobbler was just something yards. Like, we're talking about The Cobbler right now, but I'm not talking about The Cobbler right now. I am not. We are going to get back to what I was talking about, but I just had to let you know that there is an Adam Sandler universe where there's a bunch of people who he just keeps bringing back. Usually men. Usually it's men. He like cares about men, but for some reason the women don't get cared about, because for some reason, like I said, every woman that is in these movies, like, they're horrible and disgusting, and there's some reason to hate them, even though he's 10 billion kilometers worse. And then there's that girl that's literally out of his league. Like, he cannot talk to her in real life, but for some reason he has to, like I said, be getting laid by the end of every movie Adam Sandler is in, and Happy Gilmore is no exception. It's just better. It's just better than freaking every movie he's ever made. And in the next scene, it shows him playing hockey because he's like, oh, none of those jobs are for me. I'm just going to be a hockey player. And you see him busting people up, and the people who are trying to like get people on the actual leagues, the good leagues of hockey, it's like tryouts. He goes every year and he never gets it, but he tries every year. And like I said, he's traumatized. So I really do feel like his fixation with hockey was just him trying to be closer to his father, even though he's gone now. And everyone notices that Happy's really strong. He hits the puck really far, but no one wants to deal with him. And so the people who are like trying to get everybody, they start calling people's names like 52, 16, 59, da-da-da. And then if your name wasn't called or if your number wasn't called, see you later. And so Happy gets up and is like, hey, y'all didn't say nothing to me. Y'all clearly saw that I'm strong, I'm powerful. I just need training. And he's like, I didn't call your name or I didn't say your number. And he's like, nah. And he's like, better luck next year. Like, bruh, I would have said, yeah, you called my number, bruh. Like, if he said that did not call your name, I would have been like, yep. And then I would have just went over there. I don't know what, like, he thought that angering this dude that he saw pummel, like, a bunch of people in their face was a good idea. He literally starts punching everybody. Like, people try to stop him from beating this dude up, and he literally just, like, goes ham. So he ends up going home to his apartment, and he's all sad. He got Subway. Mind you, I think Subway had something to do with, like, literally, I think they probably had, like, a little thing because there's a commercial in the middle of the movie for Subway. Subway's nasty. There's not a single thing I could think about that I would want to get from Subway except their cookies. And I don't even know if they're made in-house or not. They could just be frozen from some factory. But he gets home with the Subway, and we clearly have to see that it's Subway. And he talks about how much it's Subway because Eat Fresh or whatever. Like, I really do feel like they had, like, something going on. But he talks to his girlfriend or whatever she is to him. And she's like, I can't deal with you no more because you ain't got no job. You're trying to be a hockey player even though you're not good at it and you're not trying to get better. He literally just throws himself at things and he never tries to get better. He literally never tries to get better till later. But he runs to the thing, you know, how you can click on something and you can hear somebody downstairs. It's crazy how quickly he gets into the room and how quickly she gets from the elevator, from whatever floor they're on, to the bottom for him to literally have time to turn the key to his house, get in there, and then start talking on the intercom. She's already outside. She literally had to, she had to teleport because that's crazy. Ain't no way. But he's like, I'm sorry. Please give me another chance. She's like, nah. And he's like, beat it. Hate you. And then she's like, what? Okay. And then he's like, I'm sorry. And then he starts singing this song and he starts licking the mic. He starts licking it. He starts making out with the mic. And there's like a bunch of people outside listening to that. And there's this older Asian woman who feels like she's being talked to. So she goes up to his room, even though how did you know which room to go to? Because I don't see anything lighting up or anything. Like literally the cues of the movie, nothing's lighting up. So it doesn't say what floor or anything. This woman had to know him. But he literally thinks that she's coming back in because the door's opening. And it's the Asian woman. And Adam Sandler has sex with this older Asian woman who I really feel like he already knows because that's crazy. And if you didn't think they had sex, like they did. It literally shows that she's still there in the morning as he's leaving and she's wearing his shirt. They literally had sex. So anyway, he's driving and he drives to his grandma's house and there's so many funny things that happen in this movie. The way Adam Sandler moves, the way he talks, like usually I cannot stand him. I'm telling you right now, you name a movie with Adam Sandler and I could tell you 50 bad things about that movie. Like what, even this one goes under the leagues out of his attractiveness, money-wise, everything-wise. Everything he brings to the table, she brings tenfold. She needs to be with someone better. Definitely not the villain of the story because he's not even likable. Like there are some charismatic villains. This guy's not even charismatic. He's just like a douche. And that's another thing with like bums like Adam Sandler. And what's that dude that he's like, arr, what's that dude's name? I literally have to do that in order for me to remember this guy's name because he's such a loser. IRL, he is. Tim the Toolman Taylor played Buzz Lightyear in Toy Story. Tim Allen. Oh my goodness. That dude who snitched and squealed when he was younger so that he didn't have to go to, and then he put everybody under the bus. Like just look up Tim Allen drugs. Please just do that. Like, please don't believe a word I'm saying. Go look that up yourself. I'm not going to talk about it here. But just like with that archetype, it's like the white dude that's below average for everything. And what they do to make it less jarring that this girl that is far out of your league in every possible way imaginable, even if you don't even want to look at looks, just personality-wise, yards away from you, Adam Sandler type archetype, Tim Allen archetype, he's going to be with the best-looking girl who is struggling to decide between everything horrible in a man and like a killer or something crazy. Like, it's always worst case scenario loser scum that's like, oh, it's either him or him. Like, it's either garbage or it's poop. Like, literally, you have to choose. You have to choose. They make it to where the girl can't just be by herself. She can't be gay. She can't be like, literally, like that girl, 1,000 Dates or something, that movie with Adam Sandler in it. I can't stand that movie. I can't. People are like, oh, that's so wholesome. It's so wholesome. No, it's not. Leave that girl alone. And then you're like, well, she has the right to be happy. Da, da, da. Leave that girl alone. Leave that girl alone. Like, honestly, leave that girl alone. Like, she can be happy with someone else. It does not have to be Adam Sandler archetype. Could be somebody else. Oh, but like, I'm not arguing with people about that. I'm not. We're not arguing about that movie. All I'm saying is the villain of this movie, she never really looks at him as a prospect. So that's another tick to confirm that this movie is better than any other Adam Sandler movie, because even though this dude's a jerk and he's the antagonist and all that, he's not like winning at all. It's not like a Team Edward or Jacob. There's no doubt in my mind that this girl doesn't like this fool. And she's not trying to decide whether or not, and she wasn't dating him before he got there. Freaking Karate Kid style. Cobra Kai, you were never gonna make me feel bad for the bully who was bullying, who was being mean to his girlfriend and acting like he was the bully in Cobra Kai. Don't be playing games with me. Don't be playing with my face, boy. But y'all, if y'all know me, y'all know how I feel about Cobra Kai. I like the show sometimes. And I think it's hilarious. I think it's like unironically funny. Like, I don't think they wanted it to be as funny as it is. It's more like a comedy, because it's like, how you gonna be like making the bully out to be the hero? Like, and just, poor your dad, your rich father was mean to you. Oh, like crying $100 bill and get over it. I'm so serious. You are literally like trash. I can't stand him. But like, I recommend Cobra Kai if you want to watch it. You can go watch it. If you like Karate Kid, it's a sequel series. Takes place after all of the Karate Kids, and supposedly it's also in the same universe as Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan's Karate Kid, which would be awesome. I love Jaden Smith. I love Willow Smith. Wait a minute. I love Willow Smith. Oh my goodness. And Will Smith too. I don't like Will Smith. And there's a reason why I don't like Will Smith. I love Jada Pinkett Smith. Like, play games with me about Jada Pinkett Smith. Brother, I'm so serious. Play games with me about Jada Pinkett Smith. We're done with that for now. My whole bottom line was, it's just Adam Sandler movies usually have a antagonist that's a guy that is trying to take the girl away or is conflicting. It's like either Team Jacob Edward situation, and it's really not here. So that's really cool. That's all I'm saying. Even this movie has the girl fall in love with him, but like I said, he actually tries. In other movies, he just is Adam Sandler and he's disgusting, makes me want to throw up, and then the girl's like, oh, even though you ugly, even though you ain't got no money, even though like, this guy is actually making money, though. This guy's actually making money. He's actually got something to provide, and he actually cares about his grandmother. Like, he actually has aspirations. Every other Adam Sandler character does not have aspirations except to get laid. That is literally all Adam Sandler wants to do in every single movie he's in. And when he's not worried about getting laid, he's worried about achieving some goal from some jerk. I don't know if he's got a problem with his dad, or if he's the one that's making these movies, or if he just shows up to the gig. But it just seems like you could pick Adam Sandler up and throw him in any movie and just one scene, and you can't tell what movie it's from. But Happy Gilmore, he's just a different person. He's just simply a different person. And in Cobbler, he's a different person. But literally, like Daddy's Son or whatever that crap's called with the Sprouse Brothers, whatever the other one was, 1,000 Dates. Every Drew Barrymore movie with Adam Sandler in it, he does not deserve Drew Barrymore. He makes me sick. Can't stand him. What's that other movie? Like Click. I just can't stand him in any movie. This is one of the more tolerable movies. But he comes into his grandma's house and he sees that they're taking her stuff. And he jumps on the couch as they're trying to take it out. And he's like, your grandma owes back taxes. And she owes over 200,000 taxes. And I'm like, bruh, what? How's that even possible? And she's like, since she hasn't paid her taxes in over a decade or whatever. And I thought it was 20 years, but maybe not. It just says over a decade. I can't remember if they said 20 years or not, but her reason for not paying the taxes is not having money. So, like, I just don't know how this even happened. I just don't know how this happened. What about the grandfather? What about everybody else in their family? Maybe, I know he was the only child and I know the mom's gone. And I don't necessarily know whose grandma this is, like whose mom this is, if this is the dad's mom or if this is the mom's mom. I just feel like this is crazy for her to owe so many taxes. Like they accumulated this much when she didn't have no money. Like, I don't know. It just didn't make no sense to me, but whatever. Now he's got to figure out what to do. And he throws the guy out. That came in talking about, oh, I'm not bringing all this home. This isn't my stuff. I'm just taking it in the name of the king, except not the king, the government. It's the same parliament, whatever. It's just by a different name anyway. Uncle Sam, basically. So he has to take her to a old person's home, Shady Pines, basically. And Ben Stiller is the ward or the warden of this hospital place. And he treats everyone like trash. He is literally running a sweatshop. He's making all of the elderly people sew and knit things and sell them. And there's a woman that literally asks Adam Sandler to get her out of here. So it wasn't like he was out of the loop of what was going on there. The moment they're there, a woman is like, please help, get me out of here. She does not explain what it is, but I feel like you shouldn't have to explain if you're asking for help. If you're asking for help, clearly you want to leave. So that's one take on him, because I'm like, yeah, you could say that this dude's an idiot. He literally is. Like, there is examples of him being an idiot and not just an Adam Sandler idiot. Like I said, this is a different character. Adam Sandler, I feel like he actually tried to play a different character in this movie. And I don't know if it's close to home for him or whatever, but it's just a good, fun, wholesome, turn your brain off movie. And so there's this gag, like I said, you can see every gag coming a mile away. So for some reason, Happy has his grandmother's face 3 times in his car, like in the spinny thing on the mirror. And it's literally only there so that whenever there's this cue, whenever he's like, oh, I can make money on this, and he starts thinking about what he can do to help his grandma get her house back. And it's not just about the house, it's the fact that her husband, his grandfather, built the house with his bare hands. And he keeps saying that over and over again. But he really could have kept his grandma at his house if he really cared about her. And she's like, oh, no, I don't want to burden you. But it's like literally he's got the power. He's the one that drove her there. Literally. So I just feel like it's a little strange that he doesn't house her. But before he leaves, he talks to Ben Stiller. And he says, hey, can you take care of my grandma? And he gives him $1. That's not going to take care of nobody. I think that's one reason why he just doesn't. Because he's like, you know what? I'll do it for free. I'll take care of her. I'll take extra special care of her. And it's just being mean to her, basically. That's the gag. That's the gag of this scene. And so the next scene is those same guys moving the same stuff out of the grandma's house. And Happy's like, I want to catch the game. The hockey game or whatever. So he's like, y'all need to hurry up so I can get out of here. And he's like, you know what? If you can shoot this golf ball past my golf ball, then we'll go back to work. Because they're playing with Happy's grandfather's golf set that's all old and crusty. And he ends up hitting somebody's house and breaking the glass. He shoots 2 more times. He hits a guy in the head and then he hits a girl. And he basically, he's like, okay, $20 say you can't do it again. So he does that again. That's the second time he does it. And then he doubled it. And he literally, it looks like he gave him a 50. I just don't know how he gave him a 50. I don't know. It's hard to tell. What I know for a fact is he gave Ben Stiller $1, a singular dollar, $1 bill to take care of his grandma when he could have at least given him a 5. But literally he does that and everybody's like, wow, that's cool. That's cool. And then he's like, oh, you know what? Instead of getting a job, instead of getting a 9-to-5, instead of doing anything, he does the Adam Sandler thing and he starts scamming people, basically. He goes to the local penthouse, clubhouse place, which I don't know how they let him in. He's some ragamuffin vagabond. I guess you just have to be white. And he starts saying, oh, I can shoot this ball, da-da-da. He's basically making bets, basically, illegally. And as he's doing these bet things, people are like betting on him making the ball or hitting the ball somewhere. And it's not even him going and putting the ball in the hole. It's just him punting the ball. Like, it's not even the game. And it's, like I said, it's hilarious because he doesn't even learn how to play golf until like the end of the movie. But he literally is just sitting there and doing that. And as he's hitting the ball far, there's this dude that y'all will remember if you've seen Rocky. But yeah, he's in this movie. And he plays like kind of like I feel like he's just like a little click above Magical Negro because I don't know. You can call him the Magical Negro if you want to. Honestly, I'm not gonna stop you. But he literally played Apollo Creed in Rocky, so yeah. But now he's also playing a mentor. He kind of played a mentor to Rocky a little bit after he beat him. But he is sitting there and he's basically working there. So before y'all start talking about, oh, Adam Sandler could have gone in there and somebody in there, it's not just because he's white. He's working. He's working. He might as well be freaking working. But he's working. He's being a teacher to a rich white woman. And he's not even paying attention to her. He's just disinterested because she's not really getting it. He could care less, but he's getting a paycheck, so. He sees that Happy is hitting the ball really hard and really far. So he thinks, oh, I can make this guy into something better. Happy goes to the batting cages in the next scene. And he literally just lets the ball hit him in the chest. Like constantly and continuously. Carl Withers, I'm going to call him Carl Withers because I don't remember his name. And I think it's Chubbs or something, but I'm not calling him Chubbs. Carl Withers' character pulls up because I guess he stalked him from the green where he was at. And he was like, bro, what are you doing? This is strange. And he's like, I'm a hockey player, so I got to get better for next season. And I'm like, bro, you don't even know he doesn't know the rules to any game that he's trying to play. Like, if he knew the game, if he knew the rules, then I think maybe he could be a good hockey player. But he basically is like, oh, I can teach you. It's really cool. You should totally let me teach you. And there's a few things that go on in this scene that I have to explain to you. So you notice that he's not moving his right hand like it's behind him. So we know it's going to be something crazy. Apparently, he has a wooden hand that you can clearly see his real hand underneath. And there are some ableist, offensive jokes. And then there's like a little person that's on a tricycle at the end of the movie. Like that's supposed to be funny or something. I really don't know what they were going for. Like I said, this is the least offensive. And if you really do think anything is bad in this movie, you can't watch any other Adam Sandler movie. You just can't. But it's just whatever. It's whatever. It's an old movie. It's an Adam Sandler movie. Like, what did you expect? But he literally is like, what happened to your hand, basically? And he's like, oh, well, alligator took it. And he talks about how he got taken out in his prime by the alligator. And all while they're talking, there's that little boy in the beginning of the scene. I didn't talk about him. But he was in the batting cages before Adam Sandler went in there. And he went in there and did what Adam Sandler did because kids will imitate you. That's something that literally is true. But Carl Withers talks about how he was taken out in his prime and how he would be willing to help him for free because he wants to make a star basically at the end of his career. And after he told him about what happened to his hand, he pulls out this jar and says that he got his eye because he took his hand. And I'm like, okay, bruh. And a funny scene that happens is this one. He literally was like, oh, I can't play on the tour anymore before he tells him that he has no hand. And he was like, oh, why? Because you're black. And he's like, nah. And it's like, why would they say not anymore? They just wouldn't let him there. So that didn't make sense either, but whatever. And also, a lot of things ensue with this hand. It breaks multiple times throughout the movie. And this is probably going to be the last time I talk about the hand because, I'm not dealing with it anymore. It's very not comical. It's like the least funniest part of the movie is all the hand gags. So it just gets broken, and throughout the movie he puts glue on it and fixes it, and it breaks again, and it just keeps breaking until he dies. And among that nonsense, he's telling Happy, oh, you can make a lot of money doing this. So that's when I told you, like, he looks at his grandma's picture and then drives back and says, oh, let me do that. So basically, Happy goes with his busted up, old-timey golf clubs to this, like, club place so he can basically test out the waters for golf. And he goes there with Carl Weathers' character, and he's just like super excited about golf. And he's like, ooh, why are you so excited about golf when he's just as excited about hockey? Like, stop being like that, Happy. He was like, oh, a guy your size, why don't you play football? And he's like, because my mom didn't sign the permission slip. And it's like, okay. And then he was talking about, oh, she thought it might be a little too dangerous, but I lost my hand to the alligator. There's this dude that he talks about. He's called Doug Thompson. Probably never going to use his real name again. He's just a short guy, short weasel. I'm going to call him Weasel. He's the president of the tour. So basically, he's the person who, the tour, basically, it's like Tour de France, but not. It's Tour de Golf. So it's like basically they go from place to place doing golfing tournaments. And Shooter McGavin is the main villain of this movie. He's super tall. He's super evil. He's got the evil look. He looks like some rich guy, and he's sitting there. Literally, it's just golf. I mean, yeah, whatever. I guess people like it. But he's supposed to be someone famous that's really good at golf. He's the leading winner, basically. He always wins, and everybody's getting his autograph. And then there's this girl. Her name is Virginia, and she's the director of public relations for the tour. So basically, she's like the crowd control person. So if anything goes wrong, she's got to make sure people like the people and make sure everybody's likable. And she tries to talk to Shooter McGavin. And he basically says, you woman, you are a disgusting woman. I freaking hate you. Women do not belong anywhere but the kitchen. Go get me a sandwich while you're at it. And leaves her at that. And she's literally at her job. And she's supposed to like sit next to him after all that. So long story short, she does not get the drink that he asks for because she's literally sitting there where he is, and like literally she's like more important than him. Like literally, like if he wasn't there, she'd still be here. Like she's at her job. She's just not your secretary. She's not your errand boy. She's not like your manservant. Like get out of here. And between Happy, if it has to be between these two men, which it does not have to be, like between Happy, who actually tries to talk to her and try to take her out and try to be nice. Even though there's a scene in like the middle of the movie where they're on ice and he's talking about, oh, if you make this shot, then you don't have to kiss me or whatever. But if you make the shot, you got to kiss me or whatever. Like he is a master of hockey or whatever, even though he doesn't know the rules because he never follows the rules of anything. He either doesn't know them or he just doesn't care. But I think he doesn't know them based on like the characterization of Happy Gilmore. But she just lets it go and she's like, oh, I didn't put it in there. It's like, oh, it's another one of those, not like other girls. Oh, she actually can do something. I didn't know. Oh, but like, why would he know? It's just like here and there. It's here and hither. I don't even care. It is what it is. But it's between Happy Gilmore, who is that person who actually tries to be a good person and tries to be nice. And then there's McGavin, this dude. This guy's talking about, go get me a Pepsi. And not talking to her. She's literally somebody important. She's somebody that talks to a lot of people, and he doesn't even want to network with her because he doesn't even see her as a suitable equal. And people will be like, to be fair, he doesn't see anybody as equal. He doesn't, but he sees women as less than men. So it is what it is. And even though we did the whole, oh, that's Shooter McGavin, the president has to literally announce that he's there. And the girl has to clap too for him because he's some big shot that freaking never misses or something stupid. And Happy literally dresses in his hockey uniform. And Carl Weathers' character says, thanks for dressing up. And I think it was basically not for real. Like he was just laughing because that's crazy. It's like going to a basketball game and wearing football stuff. Like that's crazy. And then McGavin does this fake crap where he's like, oh, we're all friends and let's have a good clean game. and just like freaking jerks himself off to the entire group of people, and they're all like, "Oh, that's so cute. I can't believe he did that." And the funniest thing, one of the funniest things, there's a few funny things that happen in this movie that you'll get a good laugh at. So basically, Happy does not know one rule. Like, everyone knows at least one rule to every game, right? Like, you don't know how to play basketball, but you know the ball goes in the goddamn hole. He doesn't even know the ball goes in the hole. He does not know anything about golf. And so when his caddy grabs his, it's kind of funny because he doesn't have to grab as aggressive as he does, but he grabs the golf bag and he's like, "What are you doing, punk?" And he literally just starts fighting this little boy. And then he's like, "I'm your caddy. Why you do that?" And it's just like, bro, why'd you grab the stuff out his hand like that? And then he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." He actually apologizes and he picks it up and he's really nice. But he's like, "Oh, well, if they're my grandfathers, so I'm going to keep a hold of them so you don't have to worry about it." And he's like, "What am I supposed to do?" And he's like, "Just make sure I don't do anything stupid," when he just attacked his caddy. This thing, mind you, this whole tour stuff is on TV. It's on TV. And then his group, like, people go in groups. So it's like 2 people at a time or something. Not at a time, but like, whatever. I don't know golf. I'm not a golf person. I play mini golf sometimes. But literally, I know about teeing off, and his partner or whatever was about to tee off, and he's just sitting there talking about good luck. He doesn't even, like, not to sit in the middle of the field, bro. Like, what? You don't sit in the middle of the field before you, like, start. Like, how idiot can you be? But whatever. So he is up, and he tries to hit the ball, but he misses. It's literally like a underdog story. I think it's really cool. He got all the old people laughing at him in the crowd. And then Carl Weathers pulls up and he asks them for a timeout. I don't know if that's legal or not, or if that's even something they do. But he literally starts rubbing up on him and he tells him, "This is what you got to do." And he's like, "What are you doing? Stop." And he's like, "I'm just easing the tension, bro. You really looking a fool out here. So I don't know what you want me to do." I really do feel like he's like the magical Negro trope, okay? I'm just going to say that. Look it up if you want to. I really do feel like it, especially since he dies and there's really nothing that serves. He serves the white person and then dies. And then he serves to be the motivation leader. So he hits the ball. Happy hits the ball and it goes really, 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 really far. And McGavin's really upset because he got close to the hole and he didn't even expect him because he's never seen him before. And he's wearing a freaking hockey jersey. Everything's crazy. He's the only one wearing jeans. And then Carl Weathers' character is like, "This is what you got to do. You got to do the pocket and the suck it, and you got to..." And he's like, "Why are you confusing me? Let me just put the ball in the hole." Like, it gets him like 90 strokes to get the ball in there. Like, I don't know what that is. I know that ain't no boogie. That's worse. Like, I don't know. It just takes him a long time to get the ball in the hole for him to be talking about, "Just get me the ball in the hole." And everybody's being mean and laughing at him. And every time he misses, it's just gets worse and worse. And it's funny, but sad. If you care about this character, it's sad. But he eventually gets it in, okay? He eventually gets it in. And they're like, "It's about time." And then he's like, "Oh, I couldn't get in there. I just couldn't get the ball in the hole." So he snatches somebody's shirt off and punches them in the face in front of everybody. Like, he just be throwing hands. And that's amazing. I love, how crazy is it that the best, in terms of morality, the best Adam Sandler character is a dude who throws hands with almost everybody in this movie, including Bob Barker from The Price is Right. Like, that's wild. Like, there's a lot that it's crazy. Okay? It's crazy. And even the cobbler, even the fact that he's in the cobbler, that character isn't even cool. Because, well, I'm not going to spoil it. If you want me to talk about the cobbler, you got to let me know in the comments. Like, the only reason why I like Reagan from Mob Psycho is because he throws hands. He will talk all that smack, but he will throw hands at the end of the time. Adam Sandler in this movie be throwing hands constantly. And I love that. Because don't be just talking about something, be up about it, bro. Like, be Whitney Houston about it. And he gets a hole-in-one on a par 4. Whatever that means. I mean, I know a little bit about golf, but oh my goodness, I got scared. I thought something was crawling on me. Here's a little side note that just happened recently. I tried to cut the grass, and there was Charlotte's Web. She gave birth to an egg sack where I plug in our mower and all the spiders were flying away in the wind. And I'm like, what is happening? What's happening? I started spraying. I'm so sorry. I know spiders are supposed to be good, but like, don't be putting no egg sack, or I gotta put my hands. Don't be putting no egg sack. But back to Happy Gilmore. So Virginia, that girl, like, you never hear her name again. She's not important. She's just the object for Adam Sandler to oogle over and have sex with. They don't have sex in this movie. In fact, like, it's not even canon, and until we see Happy Gilmore 2, that she even stays with him. I really felt like she was just using him, and that's fine, because she's literally in, like, the whole thing. And like, it's crazy how guys will use girls on these movies and stuff just to have sex, just to get their penis wet. And then a girl will like use a guy so that she can get further in her career. And it seems worse to people. Like, it just don't make no sense. Like, at least she's not forcing him to have sex. At least she's not hitting him. Like, I just feel like the bar's an H block stick. But so basically she's like, oh my gosh, can you believe he did it? Can you believe he did that? Got a hole-in-one par 4. And he's like, yeah. The guy that I told you, Gavin is the villain. And he's like, I just saw it. And he's being really rude and mean. And he's being a hater. He's like the biggest hater you'll ever see on a show or in a movie. And she's like, oh, that's a publicist's dream. I can't believe this. If he wins, it's like the underdog of the century. And that could draw a crowd. And he's like, you know what else would draw a crowd? A golfer with an arm growing out of his behind. He basically is like, oh, this guy's nothing. But he keeps doing really well. And he keeps raising up. He used to be on the floor, which meant he wasn't placing. But he gets on the board, and then he swings it, and he accidentally gets it into the sand. So he goes back onto the floor. And he gets really angry. Like, he gets angry all the time. And he's really strong. Like, his swing is really hard. So that's what saves him and gets him really close to being first. And he's a little ridiculous. He goes into sand. He goes into water. He goes into certain stuff just to get his ball back. So it's the last hole, and all he has to do is tap in the ball in the hole. And he can't do that. It's impossible. He's just not good at putting the ball in the hole. And he's first right now. But he keeps hitting. Every time you hit the ball, I know this much about golf. Every time you hit a ball, it's like, it tells you, okay, yeah, these are how many hits it took for you to get the ball in there. Hole in one is the best you can do. Par is pretty good. Birdie, double birdie. I can't remember which one's what, but I know the lingo. I know more about this than Happy does. And he is getting really angry because he can't get the ball in the hole, even though he knew that he couldn't do that. And he just started playing golf. He starts thinking about his grandma, and then he gets the ball in the hole. So turns out he wins, and he gets the honor of being on the tour. So this was like a prequel to the tour. Whoever won this would be able to go on the tour and be with the big boys in the big leagues. So he just won. So Virginia Bennett makes herself known to Happy, and he's like smitten. He already saw her from a while ago, but now she wants to talk to him because he basically is going to draw in crowds. He gets his first trophy. So he was upset because he won and he didn't get any money. So basically this prerequisite to be in the tour actually gives you nothing, but going in the tour gets you money. So each one that you win, you get money. And in Portland, we were just talking about Grimm. Grimm is stationed in Portland. So if y'all know about that TV show, check it out. It's a show. It's a good show for when it was, and then it started not being a good show. I would say season 1, I would stop at season 1. But let's get back to Happy Gilmore. So I'm going to just call her V, because honestly, I don't know if he really, really cares about this girl. I don't really see him making an effort to like have sex with her. He just wants to like spend time with her. And that's another thing. I think that Happy is traumatized to the point where he's like stuck in adolescence, and that's why he acts that way. Like, there's literally no reason for any other character that Adam Sandler plays to act the way he does. Like, man-child constantly. And this one specifically actually gives an explanation as to why one would be that way. Because he's traumatized. Anyway, she basically tells him in Portland, the next week golf tournament, the winner will take home $216,000, which is a lot of money. I could probably pay 2 bills with it. And then he's like, oh, that's so cool. What about the guy who comes in last place? And she said 2,400, but she says 24. And I hate when people make 1,000 sound like 100. I'm not interested in that. That just don't make no sense. I was raised differently. But this is a quick bit. This isn't supposed to be an hour. Quick bits are supposed to be less than an hour. So I'm going to try to sum the movie up, basically. McGavin feels like Happy shouldn't be here because he doesn't take golf seriously. Like I said, he doesn't even learn all the rules until the end. And the whole thing where it's like, oh my goodness, he pulls through in the end, gets the girl, gets the house back. Oh, also McGavin bought the house. It was put on auction, and he finally got enough money, placing 19th place and 9th and 7th and not first. And then he's like, he literally has to get first in order to get the house away from McGavin. McGavin literally uses his own hard-earned money or whatever money. I guess he's playing golf, but I don't know where he got it to begin with. From his freaking family, freaking owning plantations, I guess. I don't know. But he literally buys the home, so Happy has to win in order for him to get there. But all while this is happening, on the tour, Happy gets threatened to be kicked off because he can't maintain himself. The girl's like, you gotta tone it down. You can still be cool, but you gotta tone it down. Because she still likes him like that because literally she wants a crowd, but she knows that him cursing, it's not going to be good for a live television. And McGavin knows this. So before the end of the movie, McGavin hires this dude to like curse Adam Sandler out and stuff. And it's this stalker who literally he pays to be a heckler. And I don't know why he's not kicked out because it's like quiet on set or whatever. Like they got the quiet sign and they just let him do whatever, even though they're not supposed to. But yeah, all that happens. Adam Sandler beats up Ben Stiller. So I don't know if he knew that she was being hurt the whole time or whatever. But he gets the house. McGavin gets his just desserts. People beat him up. It's funny. This is a good movie. I would watch it. I recommend you watch it. Like I said, it's an Adam Sandler movie. Just like Happy Gilmore himself, instead of shooting for the stars, he shoots for the ground. And it's crazy. You have to just shoot for the ground, and anything above ground level is great, right? So with that in mind, I would say this movie gets a solid 7 out of 10. It's leaving Netflix soon because of course it is. It's going to be on some place. You're either going to have to buy it or it's literally going to go back into theaters because Adam Sandler, I told you, he's going to squeeze as much as he can out of this sequel. When nothing really substantial could come of a sequel, legitimately, there's nothing else that could be done except the same thing, and I would rather not. Like The Nutty Professor, I literally recently rewatched, and I liked it better than the sequel. Sequels usually don't do justice. There are some sequels that do justice to the situation, but definitely Happy Gilmore, I don't see where it could go, especially since, like I said, the black dude literally helps the white guy, gets killed, and then his spirit helps him at the end. It's literally like, okay, brother, what's going to happen? Is he going to have a child that is it going to be like Rocky? Is it going to be like Creed where he becomes the teacher of whoever? And if it's not a black girl, then I don't want it. Please leave me alone. Hope you guys enjoy. Like, subscribe, share. I don't know where you can watch this other than Netflix right now as I'm recording it right now. Don't know where it's going to be. Happy Gilmore's pretty good. Like I said, best Adam Sandler movie you could think of. Cobbler is another good one, but he doesn't really talk much, and I think that's one reason why I love it. But yeah, I'm done.